Okay, so what are Google APIs and how do you use them? So first of all, everybody knows Google for our applications, right? You know Google for Android, for search, YouTube, Chrome, and Gmail and Drive and all of these other apps. But you can't wait for Google to write all the apps for you. We just don't we don't do that. That's not something, that's not a service you can wait for us to do, because we're not going to be able to write all the apps that the world needs, right? So we're relying on all of you to help with that. But we don't want you to have to reinvent the wheel, because that's too much, right? We put in a lot of work, a lot of man and woman hours to build up our technologies, and we want to share them with you so that you don't have to go and do things yourself. So Google is much more than just applications you use. We make our tech available for you. So all these come in the form of our APIs, our developer platforms, our developer tools. All this is to help you, so the next time you write your next web app, your next, the next idea for a company, web app, mobile app, or probably both. That's probably more likely, right? You can use these APIs to help you to not reinvent the wheel and just stand on the shoulder of giants. Okay, so that's what our APIs are for. So how do you use Google APIs? So since many of you are in the GDG, I probably don't have to spend too much time on this because you're already Google developers, right? But for those of you who who have dialed in, maybe you're not developers, maybe you're a developer that have never used Google APIs before. What is the process? Okay, so the first thing you do is you go to console.cloud.google.com. That's easy. It's just a website. So that will take you to the cloud dashboard. Once you're there, you have to sign in. Of course, if you're already signed in, that's great. You don't have to do it. But yeah, so typically you would sign into your Google or Gmail account. By the way, not if your company uses G Suite, if they're a paying customer, your administration, all of your sysadmins need to enable you to be able to create developer projects. And if they don't, then you just have to stick with your Gmail address to do your coding with. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You may not have developer projects turned on if your company is a G Suite company. And then for every app you create, you need to create a project. Okay, and then so a project sort of like you can think of it as like a container for all the resources that you're going to use for an application. So one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to enable which APIs you want to use. I want to use the machine learning APIs. Maybe I want to store some of this data into Google Cloud Storage, or maybe I want to read some of my images that are sitting on my Google Drive. So you just enable all the APIs that you want to use. We don't enable them all by default for obvious reasons, right? We can't offer every application, every access to every API. So you need to turn them on. Some of them require billing. So all of the cloud platform ones do require billing. So I'll get to billing in just a moment in the sidebar here. So once you turn on billing, you can turn on the cloud APIs and then download the client libraries for whatever language you're using. So most of my examples will be in Python and JavaScript tonight, but we support lots of different languages. So I have another slide on that just to show you at least the set of languages that we support primarily. Then you have to create your credentials, because in order to talk to an API, you need to have something. To prove that you're a user, to tie it back to your project so we can bill you properly and all these different things. Then you create your application, and then of course you have to run your application. And if you do try to access user-owned data, maybe you want to write some results in a spreadsheet. But maybe the spreadsheet is a document that's owned by a human user, whether it's you or somebody else. And for security reasons, that user who owns that document needs to give your application permission to actually write to it. And things like that. You need to have permission to, add files to your Google Cloud Storage bucket, add files to your Google Drive, to add new videos to your YouTube playlist. So all these are examples of user-owned data, and in that case, you need to authorize that. The data could also be owned by an application in the cloud or a robot user, so you may have to authorize as well too, but it's not explicit, it's implicit. All right, so before we move on, let's take a quick look at cost and pricing. So as far as pricing goes, anything in cloud platform is pay per use. So it's just like your water bill, your electric bill, your phone bill. Well, maybe not your phone bill anymore because we just have a monthly fee, right? So your water bill is, you just pay a few cents every time you use it. Same thing goes for electricity. So that's how it works. It's not really expensive. G Suite APIs are different. So in case you were wondering that, that has a monthly subscription fee. So if your company uses G Suite where the company provides you, your own corporate Gmail, Google Drive, Calendar, Docsheet, Slides, there's a monthly subscription fee with that. Most of us who are just, home users, we just have a Gmail or other Google account and we just use the free version. So the monthly subscription fee for that is 0. So the G Suite APIs you can basically use for free if you have a Gmail account. So anyway, that's an aside. We're mostly talking about GCP and cloud platform stuff. We also have a free trial. I would recommend that you hold off signing up for that if you're a new user to cloud. Just don't turn it on yet, because if you're just kind of fooling around, it's not serious. You don't want to start that clock. That is a 12-month clock. As soon as you start, as soon as you enter the free trial, it will expire in 12 months. And then maybe later on you want to actually start using our cloud, then you would lose that access to that money. So I would say don't turn that on. Give us your credit card. It's okay, you're not going to get billed that much because we have an always free tier. So an always free tier basically means that most of the products in GCP have some sort of free daily or monthly quota, and you have to exceed that quota in order to incur billing. So we're not going to charge your credit card until you've used up that quota. So for example, we're going to take a lot of we're going to look at a lot of examples of using the Cloud Vision API. So you're going to see Vision as sort of like the number one API that I'm going to talk about in this talk, but all the other APIs have their own free quota. But for Vision API, for every API call that you make to a specific service, like I want to use the Vision API to tell me what's in a photo, that counts as 1 unit. Maybe I want to OCR and read text out of an image. Then I call that service in the Vision API. It's another unit of service. So every service gives you a free monthly quota of 1,000 units. So I can call the object detection Vision API service 1,000 times a month for free. I can call the OCR text detection 1,000 times a month for free, and then you pay like $1.50 for like the next 4,000 units or whatever. So $1.50, that's not too much, but and then like for other products, it's different. Like for cloud functions, if you're going to write, a cloud function, you have to call a function like you can call it like 2 million times for free every month. You have to exceed 2 million calls in order to pay. So generally, even though you give us your credit card, you're probably not going to be paying anyway. So that's another reason why you don't have to sign up for the free trial. Only do the free trial if you're ready to start actually using it for like real, okay? Because you can only get it one time and it lasts only 12 months. So just save it. Again, the always free tier has to be exceeded in order for you to incur any kind of billing. So if you want to learn more about the free trial as well as the always free tier and what are the quotas for all the products, then you'll find it at cloud.google.com/free.